Hey guys, my name is Ryan Johnson. I'm a legal technology consultant. I have over 15 years of IT engineering experience, and I'm also a newly minted lawyer. So basically, I have what you would call the best of both worlds when it comes to technology solutions for anywhere from solo attorneys to mid-size, mid-level law firms. I've worked as a IT director for law firms for many years, and I have had a chance to see law practice management software up close and personal. I've seen what works and what doesn't work, and what is easy and what isn't easy. And I can tell you right now that Clio, Clio law practice management software has really revolutionized the game, so to speak, when it comes to law practice management applications. Clio is a cloud-based program that takes advantage of um, the ability to store or access your information from anywhere in the world, wherever there's internet access, wherever you have access to a computer, even if it's not your own. You can update your information on the fly, on the go, and they even have applications where you can update your information via your smartphone. I can tell you right off the bat, having many years experience with traditional law practice management applications, standalone versions, that it can be cumbersome. It could be a big deal. If you have attorneys that are out of town, that are practicing across the nation or remotely, it can be really expensive for those attorneys to be able to have access to your network to be able to do their billing, regular mundane tasks, and things of that nature. So Clio has really made it easier for you guys to be able to access your network, so to speak, from anywhere in the world. My company name is Taurus Fiduciary IT Management. Again, my name is Ryan, and I am a IT engineer, or as you can say, I'm an IT consultant for law firm technology matters. And when I came across the opportunity to use Clio, I must say I was very, very, very impressed with Clio's scalability. I was impressed with Clio's ability to effectively manage anywhere from solo to multi-lawyer firms effectively. It was really impressive. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. Basically, this is some of the steps that you would take in order to get Clio up and running for your law practice, for your particular whatever matters that you have pending. If it's just you, again, like we said earlier, or if there are a few different attorneys that are there in your firm, Clio will allow you to basically access that information anywhere. It's pretty user friendly. You can set it up on the fly. As I said, I have a technology background. However, that being said, even though I'm pretty familiar with technology platforms and applications, I found this to be pretty easy. Sometimes even if you do have um, a edge for technology, some of the applications out there can still be cumbersome. There's still a higher learning curve when it comes to understanding and being able to make changes on the fly. However, this is totally not the case with Clio law practice management software. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, once you are active with Clio, once you have taken the plunge, or even if you have decided to just do a trial run with Clio just to test it out, this is where you're going to start from. You're going to start from the jump page, which asks us to sign into Clio. And basically, you're going to see this no matter what computer screen you're using, no matter if you're on a laptop, a desktop, if you're in your home office, if you're in the office, or you're across the country, if you're anywhere. This is what you're going to see. You're basically going to sign into a website here. As you can see, this is a secure website. You're just going to sign into app.goclio.com, and it's going to prompt you to sign in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and sign in here. And as you can see, Clio, it launches. This is me up in the corner. That's me, Ryan Johnson, and that's pretty much where you're going to go to access certain things. But as you can see, as soon as you log in from default, it takes you to your practice. This is a general overview, almost a dashboard, a general dashboard of what you have going on at that particular moment in time. For instance, I can tell right away what task I have due either this week, today, tomorrow, what's overdue. We're going to jump into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you that right off the bat. You'll be able to see that. So as you can see, I've got some items here that are overdue, and Clio is letting me know that right away that, hey, you've got some things that are coming up. You know, us as lawyers, we have what's called a fiduciary duty to our clients to be able to meet their needs and obligations. And if you have something that's time sensitive, where if time is of the essence, you know that you have to make sure you get those things done. And with Clio being fully integrated with your Android or your iPhone device, you'll get calendar alerts, you'll get updates, things of that nature. It'll let you know. So let's go ahead and get started. So for instance, if we're going to go ahead and get set up here, we would want to make sure we have, I don't know, our account set up. So let's go to accounts and make sure we have what information we set up, because we both know as attorneys you're going to have what's called an IOLTA account, and then you're going to have a regular ARC account, which is your bank account. Now your IOLTA account, as you know, is an interest on lawyer's trust account. This is basically where you get a retainer, and I'm sure I don't have to explain this to you guys, where you get a retainer from a client and you place that money in that account. You can't touch it, you can't do anything on it. It bears interest on it. Usually the interest goes to the State Bar Association, and that funds some type of charitable organization or you know, something thereof. So anyway, so once we go there and we see we have our bank accounts, as you can see, I already have one or two set up. But if we were going to set up a bank account, it's completely simple. You just would press new here, and that information is going to come up. It's going to ask you whether it's an operating account or a trust account. So if it was a trust account, we would name it here. We would name it our IOLTA or account. What you would want to do is pretty much name that account with something that is exactly the same as what you have with your banking institution. So for instance, if it's your trust account, you're going to call it your trust account. And if it's your operating account, you're going to call it your operating account. There's no need to reinvent the wheel here. We're going to keep it really simple. As you can see, it's going to ask you for a couple different pieces of information: account holder, the institution, domicile branch, account number, transit number, things of that nature, currency, the balance. Since we already have ours created, we're going to go ahead and click cancel on that. I'll show you, for instance, this IOLTA account. Basically, it's set up. I see my account number here, and my transit number, my balance. As you know, this is just for informational purposes only. So this is not an actual account. This is not an actual account number, and this surely isn't an actual balance. And even if it was $179,000, this would be our trust account, and that money is not ours. It's our client's money. We can't touch it. We can't even pay bills with it, as you guys are well aware of. So you see here with this, it's the bank name. You can see that the sources of the funds that are here. So for instance, if I were doing some billing and I needed to go ahead and transfer the money that I billed a client for to my operating account, you can see here from this list of transactions that that has been done. It just continues to go on and on and on and so forth. Either you have money coming in or you have money coming out. Now these are all set up for testing purposes, where people not unlike myself who have trained to become acclimated with this software, so they can explain it and help you guys, the lawyers out there, get acclimated with it. This is where we learn this information. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and I'll show you the operating account real quick. This is our operating account. As you can see, Chase Bank, domicile branch, Phoenix, account holder Jones and Jones, blah blah blah. and the bank account, the balance is $839,789. Now, if you have a balance like that as a solo attorney, you're probably doing pretty good. I definitely want to be on your team. But as you can see, these funds here are pretty much transferred from the trust account as you would complete any type of billing matters. If you would complete a matter, you would go ahead and transfer those funds from the trust account and go forth from there. So with that being said, we're going to go over to activities. This here is basically a place where you can set up certain descriptions. So it's an optional description used for setting up routinely perform actions that users make. For instance, we have an activity for a deposition, document and forms preparation, document review, legal research, meeting, things like that. So if you're constantly doing these particular activities within your law firm, you want to be able to automate this system. Clio learns with you. You'll learn with Clio, and Clio will learn with you. So once you start to get the hang of it, and trust me, the learning curve is not that high, it's really user friendly, you'll be able to create different activities and different automated activities so that you can do a one-stop click on something and it'll allow you to do whatever you need to do. They basically should reflect the typical transactions used within your account. For example, client intake, as we talked about before, or deposition, or things of that nature. So to add another, we would go ahead and just click add. It's going to ask us, what do we want? Let's say we want to do client intake because we have clients coming through the door at all time. The billing method is going to ask us what default rate do we want to use. Do we want to use our default rate, which is mine, is set up in here as $300 an hour. But for a client intake, we will probably use a custom rate, and it's probably going to be 0. I don't know about you, but I don't charge for initial consultations. Some people do. They don't like their time being wasted. I totally understand that. To each his own. However, for this particular activity description, we would be able to do that. We also have an option to open this up to different groups. If you have groups within your law firm, it may be just lawyers, it may be just legal assistants or administrators or admins. You can certainly do that. You can open this up to co-counsel as well. It's just a really, really neat way of automating things to make them go a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and jump into calendars real quick. And with calendars, it's pretty straightforward. So by now, all of us, or many of us, I should say, have become quite accustomed to using smartphones, to using maybe Microsoft Outlook, maybe Gmail, maybe Hotmail, things like that, where they have built-in calendars where you can calendar your items, and you can set it where you get a reminder, 2 weeks out, a week out, 2 hours out, whatever have you. Here in Clio, we have the same similar setup. You can have as many different calendars as you choose as you create them. For instance, I have my calendar, tasks, statute of limitations, and the overall general firm calendar. In order to create a calendar update, we simply just going to mark somewhere on there, drag the mouse down, and it's going to create a new event. It's just that simple. So maybe I have a client intake meeting coming up on March 12th, and it's going to be from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Here is my name again, the firm, the attendee. I'm going to be that particular person. Here we have a matter. We're going to jump into that a little bit later. That'll allow me to associate this calendar entry with a particular matter that we have pending already in our Clio practice management application. But we're going to go ahead and click cancel on that for right now because we aren't necessarily going to be using that. So if we wanted to add a new calendar, it's pretty straightforward. Generally, it's just with you until you share with individuals or people within your firm. And you're just going to click new calendar here, and let's say we're going to name this calendar, I don't know, lunch meetings. And this is going to be shared with a group. We can share it with anybody within our firm. The permissions are set to the owner. However, we would be able to adjust that. We can add sharing permissions. Like I say, it's available to the firm. The permission is editor. or viewer or whoever you